Willamette. Welcome to the pre-game hangout for the long-awaited finale of the High Priestess arc of Path Arcana.
Woo!
Woo! We haven't played for a while, so I'm looking forward to getting this part of the campaign over, and then we'll get back to your regularly scheduled Westgate Irregulars romp next week. So look forward to it. But for now, here we are. Ben is in his new place. Brian is in Candlekeep. Is that Candlekeep? I think that's Candlekeep.
Yes, that is Candlekeep.
All right, cool. And the rest of us are, in our usual places.
Hey.
So, I wanted to say, for folks who remember a few months ago when we did the Isekai Realm stuff, well, the rest of us who are in that game have been doing some busy secret squirrel recording behind the scenes, and we're going to have new episodes for you that are going to be showing up soon. I'm not going to announce a specific date yet because we're still making sure that all works, but soon it is going to happen.
Episodes are edited in the can, so they will be coming at some point.
some shocking and explosive stuff will be coming soon.
Boom.
I definitely did look at Rhiannon when I said explosive stuff, but yeah,
don't worry about it.
I don't want to. No spoilers, just teasers. No spoil, just tease. So, which is a long way of saying that I've seen Allie and Rhiannon very recently. I haven't seen Ben and Brian all that recently, though. How have you two been?
Candlekeep on the brain.
Yeah. I was gonna say, read any good books lately, but there are a lot of good books behind you.
All of them, in fact.
That's right.
I mean, you saying you have Candlekeep on the brain just summons, like Dark Willow. I plunge my hands into the books and the text just scrolls up my body. Like, I just tell me that's what you're doing and it'll make me happy.
If only.
If only. It's true.
And Ben is in his new place.
It's true. I'm excited.
It's awfully bright there.
Well, it's I'm lucky enough to have a window right there and a white wall, so all the light is just bouncing all over the place. But don't worry, soon there will be more than just a white wall. If you happen to follow me on Instagram, you will see that I did a thing where I was like, these 12 wallpaper samples aren't enough. I need more. And I have like 24 that just arrived today. Because yes, I am just that gay.
Awesome.
Fair.
But yeah, new place. Just got everything out of storage last weekend. Turned in the keys to the temporary place. So no more kitchen behind me. Sorry.
I see. How are you doing, Rhiannon?
Hot. Not too hot.
It is pretty warm in Seattle today, isn't it? Jeez.
I can't talk about how work was today, so.
Oh. Okay.
Oh, that good. I see.
Well, this I'm an editor of technical reports, and there's a wide variety of quality of the ones that I
All right. Technically, this is a report.
So what you're saying is
is it though?
you can't say for sure if when we read in the news about people delving and unlocking an ancient eldritch being beneath Seattle was you can't say that for sure.
See, like, I gave Yang for shit for this on our last hangout, so you are not accepted.
Okay. No. I think your job is really cool. I will not pester you about anything that you may or may not have discovered.
Well, I mean, what you'll let yourself in for is the lecture.
Yes.
The lecture about how it's not about discovering things. It's about making sure things aren't there. And in fact, it's often quite boring, but that's a good thing because it means things won't get destroyed, et cetera, et cetera. The lecture.
The lecture, yeah. So, I think I've actually heard the lecture before, or the first
chapter
of the lecture. Yeah. Anyway, it's all good. It's all good.
That actually makes me think, Rhiannon, did I ever happen to tell you about my sort of weird left turn out of academia just before college, and when I totally intended to be a paleontologist?
Wow. Okay. Cool.
So it's sorry, the reason I'm bringing it up, so I haven't told you, and the reason is that one of the reasons that I did a left turn out of it is that really all I wanted to be was that person in the desert with the dental pick, like freeing bones from the dirt. And someone revealed to me that if you actually go into academia, they're like, no, actually, most of your time is like writing research grant requests and publishing papers.
Mhm.
And I was like, oh, so I don't get to just like dig the bones like full time all the time. And they were
Sadly,
like,
no.
no, in fact, you'll almost never do that. And I was like, oh.
Yeah.
To which I then was like, well, is there a museology degree where I could make that my
Yeah.
full-time job in the museum? And they were like, that's really more like grad students, and like you don't really need a college degree to do that. And I was like, oh, which I don't know if that's actually true, but someone
Well,
told me that once.
You do need. I mean, I don't know museology as well as I know archaeology, but
Yeah.
extrapolating from archaeology, a lot of the work is being done by students, and so to get a paid job, you would need a degree, but the degree would get you a paid job that is about grant requests and writing herd on the students and interns, and so you'd be better off volunteering.
I can confirm that in order to be a grad student, you do need a college degree.
Well, yes, but you also
that's how that works.
Yeah, I was about to say you can't be a grad student forever, and then I realized that that's technically not true. But we'll just let that one pass on by. But yeah, so the TLDR is that I was totally set to become a paleontologist until I realized what it actually meant. And I'm very happy at Xbox and loving life. So I think all ended well.
I mean, our company has a few paleontologists on staff.
No.
But they don't get out there very often. I don't think. Mostly they're like writing the reports about why this rock unit would not contain fossils. At least the reports I'm reading are the ones about like where the paleontologists are like, nothing.
Negative result is a result. So
yes, it is.
Yeah.
Bread and butter.
Although it's more paleobotany, but I will say I do sometimes scratch that itch because there is a place in the Cascade Mountains that I know of where there was a rock slide, maybe like, I don't know, 15 years ago, and that rock slide like unearthed a layer of fossilized plant material. In fact, several layers of it, and it's really cool because they're so you can go out there and just walk around and be like, look at all these fossil plants just like hanging out on the ground. But it's cool because one layer is tropical and it's literally like layer upon layer of palm fronds in mud that have then been like fossilized into just a big chunk of palm frond. But then if you just go up the hill a little bit, suddenly everything is deciduous instead of like tropical palm. And it's fascinating. It's good times.
That's cool.
Interesting.
Is there a good like non-collection policy? Because you're saying it's still there. I was like, oh, people came okay, got it, but or is it just off the beaten trail?
I don't know. I think it's technically on land that is owned by a logging company, a forest husbandry organization, so to say. And so what the actual rules are around collection, I do not know. I just knew that I was like, you know what, I will come and observe and leave them for everyone else to enjoy, especially since I don't know if that would be bad to take them. But it was fun because a lot of people who had found like particularly good sort of like leaves or stuff like that, like they would maybe like dig them up a bit and then like leave them, that everyone was like leaving them out in the open on this one big, right? So it's like walking up to sort of like big dining room table sized boulder that everyone had just like left a bunch of like fossilized leaves and palm fronds over. And so if you were lazy and didn't want to actually go hunting for them themselves, it was like, here's what we found. It was cute. It felt very like yes, community organized museum display, and it warmed my heart. I was into it.
Cool.
On that note, since it's now summer in Seattle, even though I know Allie is in Seattle and things like that, Raise your hand if you do hiking in the Pacific Northwest obsessively during the summer.
I mean,
I know
a
you
little bit,
do,
but-
Ben.
No, Brian, you raised your hand, but now I'm getting this face, which leads me to believe that you are making a deception check against me. Like,
Oh, I don't live anywhere near the Pacific Northwest.
okay.
That's
Well, yeah,
that
I
is
know,
true.
but you come to visit sometimes, right?
I've been a couple times.
He has been here before. It's true.
And you didn't drag him up into the mountains, Eric?
No, I did not. I am a better friend than that.
Oh, I was gonna say, why are you such a bad why
Wow.
are you such a bad friend for not dragging him up into
I'm
the
not a
mountains?
hiker.
I will
Oh,
say
okay.
I'm not back in the States yet, but I am like ice cream. You need to keep me like at least refrigerated. I can't like I go out into the summer heat and I will melt.
Okay.
That is
Aren't you in Australia?
I am, and we have air conditioning.
Good times. Well,
Plus,
okay, never
look, I'm in Victoria. The climate where I'm at is actually fairly mild, reasonably. It's Pacific Northwest-ish, so it's not too bad.
yeah.
Oh, you're expecting Americans to know about the climate of another country. That's not how that works. We have a very narrow understanding of what a country is, and then we just extrapolate that to the whole country. Did you know that's how
fair.
that works?
Oh yeah, I mean, I've talked to plenty of people who think that the entire country is just the outback, and that's all that there is.
Well, to be fair, we also get plenty
no.
of people from like East Asia and Europe that think that all of America is Texas.
Fair.
They're like, where are the cowboy hats?
I have occasionally interacted with people from Texas who think all of America is Texas, or should be.
Oh, okay, well
So-
that's a whole other can of worms, and I don't know why you went there. So
Yeah,
But-
that is
surprisingly,
mhm.
when I was in Europe with my parents' touring choir, Seattle like was known,
Mhm.
but like so my parents live in Portland and their choir is based in a nearby suburb of Beaverton, and so we'd be like, we are a choir from Beaverton, Oregon, and like their frame of reference is that near Seattle, and it's like, I mean, it's nearer to Seattle than like Texas or New York City, but like, I mean, okay, Cascadia, I guess.
Did recently meet somebody from Jersey who was not sure where Oregon was. Apparently, they assumed that Oregon was somewhere in the middle of the country,
I mean,
That's
you have no context.
and I was like, "Huh, I never thought of it that way."
Is Oregon the Pacific Midwest? I don't understand.
Maybe,
I mean, like
but I
I
mean,
would not be so understanding of that mistake. But
if you're on the East Coast and you're used to Northwestern, which is somewhere in the Midwest, right?
Oh,
Then
and
one can
yeah.
make that mistake that like, oh yeah, that people say Oregon, it's in the Northwest. Oh, Northwestern, that's in one of those
It's in
states.
Chicago,
See,
isn't
I
it?
don't even know where it is.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's in Chicago.
It's in Chicago. Yeah, that makes sense. I think I did know that
Sure.
actually, now that I think about it. Because once upon a time, that was considered the Northwest of the United States. Because it was. And then we bought a whole lot of extra land.
Look, I'm not saying that
Hey.
if you gave me a map of America without any state borders that I could just be like Delaware. Like I don't know if I could do that. Or even West Virginia, which I used to live very near. Like I just don't know if I could do it. So I'm not gonna like get real sort of uptight about someone not knowing exactly where Oregon is. And also, no, you're giving them way too much leeway to assume it's in the Midwest. You're just being way too
Yeah.
nice, Eric. I'm sorry.
It's a very nice person who just hadn't
Yeah.
been out here on the West Coast, which is fine. Yeah,
Fair.
learn something every day.
I still remember the time when I was a kid, very young kid, where we traveled interstate for the first time, and when we crossed from one state to the other, I was very confused because there was no line on the ground. Like- It didn't make sense.
That reminds me of someone that I was trying to organize going on a date with when I was in college many a year ago, which we won't say how many a year ago. And I as someone who was basically a military kid and so moved around a lot and traveled around the country a lot as a result, just didn't have a concept for people that had never left a state before. Like I didn't know that was a thing that still happens because I don't know, I was young and stupid. But I met this guy who he was like, yeah, like I left Illinois for the first time. And I'm like, you're 26. How did you manage that? Which I know at the time, like there are plenty of reasons why someone might not do it, and some of them are like economic and whatever. And I'm not judging anyone who hasn't done it, but it was just sort of, it just blew my mind. Of course, then we tried to figure out a place to like go eat, and the fact that he had never left Illinois became like apparent, and how much it had affected the rest of his life, because at the end of it, he like I couldn't get him to pick a place because he was like, no, I don't like it, don't like it, don't like it, don't like it. I was like, okay, what do you like? And he's like, well, basically I have a rule. If it comes from Asia or the sea, I don't eat it. And I was like, so we haven't even scheduled this date, and I'm gonna go ahead and break up with you because I can't do it. Like this, you and I are not compatible. It's not gonna work. I'm so sorry. Oh, Brian, you have your hand up. Oh no.
Isn't Asia half of everybody?
Well, so that's literally what I said. I was like, so let me get this straight. About you're saying that basically like 70% of the surface area of the earth and like 60% of the land mass is just a like not an option for sustenance. Even considering it, he's like, yeah, I just don't like it. And I was like, we're not
But
compatible. Have a nice life.
Because
Goodbye.
clearly he's had the
Well-
exposure to
Right,
to
exactly.
experience all these cuisines.
Right.
I don't like Kazakh food.
How can you not like lamb and bread? Like
I don't eat anything that they eat in China. You don't eat rice? Oh, I eat rice.
no, anyway. But yeah, it's just like it's interesting how much like the life experiences you have when you are young and the perceptions that we have of things, but until you have that experience, you're like, oh, there's no line at the States. Oh, like people in other parts of the world eat things I don't. How strange. Like,
Okay, so there's one point in the United States where four corners of four different states come together.
mm-hmm.
Has anybody been to that spot? Okay, what
I think.
what is it like? Is there a statue? Is there a mural
Well, I
on
haven't
the
been
ground?
to the spot.
Is there a crossroads full of ghosts? What's there?
My wife's been there. I think
Is
it's
it-
like a signpost and a little like medallion on the ground.
That
Because it's called the whole region, and I've been to the region, and I read
Mhm.
about the regions a lot. It's sort of
Mhm.
like we would say the like Puget Sound or something like that. Like
Right. Mhm.
there's the corners region. So
Okay.
yeah, it's like a little, I don't know, I don't think it's technically a national monument, but there's a, as Brian said, there's like a thing on the ground where exactly the points are, the different states are labeled. There is sort of like a little visitor center. It costs money to get in there, I think. Yeah, it's $5. Yeah, I'm looking it up. $5 per person to go and stand on imaginary lines surrounded by buildings.
See, I think we're missing an
$5 per person.
Wow.
Honestly.
I think we're missing an opportunity to have a quintessentially American gladiators fight right there at the four corners. So you set up the little pillars where one gladiator standing in each state, and they wear the colors from that state, and then they fight with their buffers, and then that's the only way to determine which state is superior, clearly.
Whereas I mean, and I'm sure someone has had this idea already. I can't be the first person to think of this, but do you all remember the ball game from elementary school, like Four Corners, where it's
Yeah.
like you have to bounce? Yeah, it's like just play it there. There you go. Like I threw
You
a
like-
ball into another state.
Like
I threw a ball
Foursquare?
across
Is that what we're
3
talking
straits.
about?
Yeah,
Yes.
Foursquare.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I called it Four
okay.
Corners. That must have been an Ohio thing.
Mhm, mhm.
Possibly.
Good times. Well, okay, fine. Since none of you are hikers, I guess I just won't invite you up into the mountains
I'm
this
actually
weekend.
probably going to be going on some hiking trips with my partner and her partner when I'm visiting New York. So that's what we were making plans to do some hiking.
Well, that's good stuff in New York. Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm actually
Um,
running a game on Saturday.
Gasp.
And if you want to take me on a hike, you probably want to take Shelly on a hike, and she's working all day on Sunday. So I don't know. I'll ask. We'll
Wow.
see. We'll see.
Well, except the hike I'm doing on Saturday is indeed one of those hikes where I am that friend that I'm like, you want to go on a hike? And then you guys are all like, wait, how long is this? And I'm like, it's only 10 miles.
It's like the last time we went hiking with you. Yeah. We got back, the sun setting. We're like,
Oh, it's the best. It's the best.
It's the best when your body produces endorphins correctly. Anyway,
Is the sun setting or am I losing my vision?
it's going dark. I'm afraid. No, it's evening, Eric. Oh, okay.
Leave me here. Go on ahead. Tell my children I love them.
When we did go on a hike, there were a couple of people who took the lazy way, and they just took a motorboat from the parking lot to where we hiked to. 5.5 miles, right? And I was like, we should steal their boat, but we didn't end up doing that.
Yeah. See, the difference between the hike that you're talking about and the one that I'm doing on Saturday is like that hike was flat-ish.
Oh man, Ben, why do you do this to yourself?
Exercise. I
Yeah,
love it.
yeah, okay.
Nature, beauty. I really don't know why I'm not playing a druid, to be honest, but what else?
It's true. Yeah.
You may
What?
need to roll a character before next session.
It's possible.
Why is some ballista going to shoot me in the back?
I mean, you never know.
It's like
Alchemy is an imprecise science.
Nah,
it's like
it's fair.
It is
the
at that.
rules say the rules say I can designate who is immune to this power. I designate no one. All right, everyone, cast ballista and
That's what I always do. Whenever somebody asks cast a spell that like some people are not targeted by the spell, I always ask them when they cast it, okay, who are you not targeting with the spell? And the answers are not always obvious. Because sometimes the PC will forget that there's an NPC who might run in at any moment. And that could get real awkward.
oops.
Well, I fell down a rabbit hole of looking for the site of it's not there anymore, obviously, but the site of the Golden Spike for the Transcontinental Railroad.
Oh yeah,
Because that is an interesting sort of random point on map, I find. But it's somewhere randomly in Utah. So there's a visitor center and all. So if I'm ever in Utah, actually I have family in Utah, but
And
Good
wasn't
opening
the
line
original?
for a.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Brian.
I was going to say it's a good opening line for an episode of a show where the main character doesn't know where he is. Somewhere randomly in Utah.
And wasn't the
Where are my
original Golden
pants?
Spike like stolen within like 2 weeks of it being installed in the 1800s, and they replaced it with like a fake one?
well, I mean, I closed the webpage. I should look it up again.
It's not important.
I don't know that
likely.
it was ever like there except for the photographs. I thought they like hammered it in, photographed it, like
Pulled it out,
the people
Got a
left,
really
and then they
big
like
claw
took it back
hammer.
out again. Like,
returned it to the treasury.
Yeah, that's probably true.
well,
I don't know. I feel
it's in.
It's in a museum somewhere.
I mean, yeah. Well, anyway, I can't like talk and read at the same time. So
That's fine.
speak among yourselves.
Take your time. Research is important. So Brian, I know, is gonna be at Gen Con. Yes, Brian?
Yes.
Yeah, we're at Gen Con. One day we will get you others to go to Gen Con too. Yang A's just reminded me that we are now at 6:25, so we're gonna take our short break to do some commercial and stuff, and we'll be back at 6:30 or whatever 6:30 means to you, wherever you are in the world. And we'll get this done. Woo! Don't go away.